I break, he restored. He don't ever toss the plate. I ain't perfect, I'm obedient, and that's why I say.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Made of Clay podcast. This is episode 4 with my good buddy Andrew Brockenbush.
What's up?
I'm so happy to have you on today, Andrew.
I'm excited to be here in my own office on your podcast. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I usually record these things in my living room / bedroom because I live in a tiny house, so it's kind of all the things. And so now I have a legit setup and really expensive mic I'm speaking into. I mean, it's amazing. I'm just gonna use your space more often.
You should. You definitely should come move here. Just kidding. I don't know if your friends there would like me so much.
Maybe not, but well, yeah. Today's episode's gonna be a little different because it's just kind of a more personal story. I guess that's what all of them are. I don't know, but. A few weeks ago, I was scrolling through social media, as I often do, and saw a post that Andrew posted, and he said he was launching a toy drive, and he was holding this little walkie-talkie set, so it piqued my interest, and I actually stopped to read the whole post. It was pretty cool, so I'm not going to tell your story. Do you want to tell your story of the post, and then we can kind of dive in?
Yeah, let's do it. So fast forward, rewind, I guess, right? Rewind back in time to baby Andrew, like, middle school, I think like maybe 4th grade, 5th grade, something like that.
We need a picture.
Yeah, I'm sure we can find something. It's going to be a terrible picture. We'll find it. So there was a holiday party at school, every kid's like kind of exchanging gifts. And I remember it being kind of weird because like we didn't have a ton of money. So I didn't have like a lot of gifts to bring. There wasn't a lot of exchanging of gifts. And so I remember like my teacher had said, hey, like you need to go to the office. And I was like, okay, like this is kind of weird, but whatever. And I'd gotten pulled out of class and come to find out the principal had like a Christmas gift for me. It was a set of Walkie Talkies. And I remember them like so clearly. Actually, I was at Costco the other day and took a picture of a pair of Walkie Talkies that looked almost identical to the ones I got whenever I was
so
in
awesome.
4th, 5th grade. And later on in life, I found out that had come from Toys for Tots. And I was a recipient of Toys for Tots. And like at that age, you don't know anything. You're just like, whoa, this is a really cool gift. Like,
Right.
That's awesome. Like,
yeah, you shouldn't. Yeah, I mean,
like,
it's
you're
just
just like,
a gift.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is super special. A few years later, when I was like, I don't know, maybe freshman in high school or I don't know, that age. I'm old now. I don't remember those things. But I got to volunteer with Toys for Tots at my local church, and we got to be like one of the main kind of like centers that we got to like organize the toys and like dispatch them to the families. And so like it became kind of a special thing to me just because of the fact that that was really meaningful at that time in my life when we didn't have a lot. We were kind of always on food stamps, and we were, getting groceries from the food bank. And so I think that like that was like a really like monumental moment in my like life, especially as a kid, because it's like super special. Like you felt like top of the world. Like, oh, look at all the other kids. Like, look at these. Like, look at these walkie-talkies I have. And so every year since then, as an adult, now that I own a business, now that I can actually make a contribution here at Beefy, we've actually been a Toys for Tots location where people could drop off toys. And so it's been really, really cool. I don't know if that was like the full story you want me to give or if I gave too much, but that's it.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. And I guess like media timeout, Andrew is with Beefy Marketing. He has a marketing company in Tomball, Texas. So a super cool guy. On top of that, I didn't really give that introduction.
Yeah,
but
who am I even?
just Andrew.
Andrew.
Just Beefy. But yeah, no. So that was the post, a little more condensed, but I love the additional storytelling because that's super impactful. It kind of gave me chills just listening to it again. And that's awesome, like, going into Costco and seeing those.
Yeah, it was so cool. I literally, I have that picture. I can definitely give you that one.
I love it.
Probably better than the picture of me as a child.
Yeah, so I think it's just cool that how we kind of talked about this last night with social media. It's so it can seem so plastic and it can seem so rehearsed or so AI, and I think that it's so important as business owners ourselves to kind of come back to those moments of like how the ripple effect of your post sharing a vulnerable moment about your childhood kind of sparked this idea with Made of Clay to use all the proceeds that we've gotten from this first shirt drop to get kids Christmas gifts. And because I knew that like God had something planned with this money, that it wasn't supposed to just go to our bank account or make us have a merrier Christmas. It was supposed to be used to kind of further the mission of what Made of Clay is all about. And so it's just so cool how your Facebook post started all of that, and now we're sitting at 36 kids that we've served this Christmas. We've spent over $5,000, and the money just keeps pouring in. Like, it is such a God thing. I mean, the profits were Made of Clay, yes, but we could not have served that many kids solely on that. And we just kind of kept trusting that there was going to be provisions, because I ordered way too much, way too many Christmas gifts compared to the amount of money that we had in. But I just felt like God was like, hey, you trust me and like I'll make it happen. And the day that we went to Walmart and spent $600 that we did not have for this, literally 30 minutes later, I got $900 given to me for the shirts. And it's continued to happen. I looked on the submissions one day because I was kind of like, we've served like 20 kids or whatever. We'll be good. We really have like, it kind of had levelized of we had enough money and we had enough kids and gotten all the gifts ordered. And like I said, live in a tiny house. So we literally had 20 boxes for all these kids in our living room, kitchen, my office. And I was like, yeah, we're good. Well, I got on the submission page that I created for the Christmas drive and saw 8 more kids on the list. I was like, crap, what are we going to do? Because I'd been trying to spend like $150 or more on each kid. We didn't have that money. And it is just continually has gotten provided for. And now we're, at 36 kids, whereas at 27, I was freaking out. And so just really, really cool. And so glad that we could be a small part of it. And just like hearing your story on the flip side of it, of like being that kid.
Yeah.
Is just super awesome.
It's such a cool thing that you guys did that too, because like despite my Facebook post, I know that you guys are the kind of people that would have done something like that anyways. That's just like y'all's hearts. So I really admire you guys for that. And I also just think that it's funny that here we are, I'm 36 now, so 25 years or more later in my life, I'm still sharing this story. And you have to imagine that all of these kids that you're going to serve this Christmas are going to have that story to tell as well one day. That could be the thing that makes or breaks someone, right?
Yeah.
When all you're served all day is bad news, when every day is a hard day and there's never a shimmer of hope, it gets really dark. It gets really lonely.
Yeah.
Right? We understand that as entrepreneurs.
Right.
Imagine that as a kid where it feels like you have no control of anything. You're just at the, mercy of the world.
Yeah.
And so I think that you guys being able to make this kind of impact and the people that are supporting this and the people that are listening to this podcast and want to support you guys for future missions, I think that's incredible because that's going to make a huge lasting impact.
Yeah, that the ripple, and I kind of always go back to like it takes one person in a kid's life. Like so I'm a part of CASA. It's court appointed special advocates. They pair an adult with a foster. Kind of what led me to them was it only takes one person to change a child's story, and that is so true. I mean, just even in my life, like I was very blessed to have food on my table every night. Very privileged in those senses. Like we weren't wealthy by any means, but I didn't have to worry about not getting food at night, and that's a completely different level of poverty or of privilege. You realize when you're a kid, like you just go to school and everybody's the same, right? But you don't realize that, hey, this kid doesn't even have a blanket to sleep on or socks. And so I had those people in my life that one adult in this situation that I still remember, and just kind of thinking back, how can I be that person for those kids? And, maybe a kid that is privileged or is not, but if you come from nothing, as in like, you have a bad home life or all of these things and you don't know where your next meal is going to be and you have those people in your life, like you said, it can completely change the course of their life. And it's not me, by any means, it's God and him using me to be those hands and feet is kind of how I see it. But man, I want more of that. Like, that's what it's all about.
For sure.
And so, yeah, I think it's definitely a balance of like not ever wanting to come off of as like somebody's savior. Oh, I'm better than them, or I have more money than them, so I need to, make myself feel better about getting them Christmas gifts or whatever. No, that is absolutely not it at all. It's that like we're called to serve and like give, and I would prefer nobody to know who is on this list or who is donated. And that's the cool thing too. Like so many of these people have just handed me a check or handed me cash and they're like, go. Like they, that the trust is there, but also like, hey, let's just make this anonymous. Let's give these kids the gifts, like give them to their parents or whatever the situation is, and let them have a great Christmas. They don't need to know that there was somebody working in the shadows to make them have a great Christmas.
Yeah. Just giving them that experience. Like for me, like the Walkie Talkies weren't about Toys for Tots.
Exactly.
It was just about that moment and that experience. It was only later that I realized what that even was and who they were and what their mission was. And there's organizations all over the world that do these kind of things.
Right.
And it's like, wow, what an honor to be a part of that kind of thing. And you said it's not about us at all. I am blessed to be able to be in a position that I can do it.
Exactly.
Like I didn't come from that at all, right? And there's definitely times where I'm trying to figure things out myself. But the fact that we are called to serve and the fact that we have the ability to serve That's amazing.
Yeah, and I also think, like, from a business owner's perspective, because, like, we're both entrepreneurs, business owners, it's easy to get stuck in, we both do marketing, right? It's like, how is marketing gonna be impactful for the kingdom or, like, to reach kids that are in need? And it's so kind of silly that we get into that mindset, or at least I do sometimes, because it doesn't have to be grand or extraordinary. It doesn't even have to be $5,000 or 10,000 or whatever, because you can kind of look at those organizations that are bringing in these huge funds, and it's like, well, I don't have that amount of money. Or even personally, like, hey, it's Christmas season and I would like to give, but like, we don't have an extra $1,000 or $2,000 to just throw at giving gifts or whatever. And I think that for me, I got so stuck into that mindset of like, oh, I can't help because I don't have the money or whatever. You can go volunteer at a local
Yeah,
soup kitchen or a food pantry, or just telling somebody that you like their Christmas sweater, or
exactly.
buying somebody a coffee in line behind you. There's so many ways to be generous and be kind that aren't, well, I need $5,000 to do this fundraiser and I don't have $5,000, so it's just not going to happen. And I think it's the same thing with business of just start taking steps, and the ball will start rolling faster and faster. I'm
Exactly.
seeing that again and again. So yeah, I guess it's just kind of encouragement to people that get in their own heads or maybe think that they can't provide or make an impact. Like, you're making an impact no matter if you think you are or not. And so just make it
Yeah.
a positive and kind one.
Yeah, do what you have with what you have, right?
Exactly.
One small act of kindness, you talked about the ripple effect, like it can. And I think that I love that you talked about all of the different ways that you can show up and be kind and be generous. And I was thinking about this, like my brain was like literally processing at the same time as you. It was just like, yeah, like, I mean, I think back of like when I was volunteering with the Toys for Tots, whenever I was still in like junior high school, we did not have, like, we were in the same position financially that we were whenever I was like a little kid. The only difference was I realized the impact that was having. And that was the only way that I could serve and show up was with my time. Right. And so I think that we just have to like, step back and look at all of the things that we do have and say, okay, I'm able to do this. I get to be able to do that versus
Right.
like I have to and I can't. It's like, no, you probably can. It's just like, how can you?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I love the I get to instead of I have to. I can't is, no, I just choose not to.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
those mindset shifts for sure are great, because and it applies to every aspect of life, right? I mean, working out or eating healthy or hanging out with friends or giving to your community or all of these things, like, oh, I have to do that. It's like, no, you get to, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you
That's
are blessed with
amazing.
all of these things, happening in your life. And, not that I don't still fall into that trap
For sure. We
sometimes,
all do.
but
Yeah.
it's good to have that reminder.
All right, Gabby. So I have a question for you because, I'm a podcaster too. So I like to be able to kind of flip the script and,
We'll have the turntables.
yes, exactly. Learn more about you. So tell me more about y'all. Have y'all set some of y'all's goals as a, I guess, business slash organization for the new year? Like, you guys are obviously in the middle of this really incredible mission with these kids and serving them for Christmas. Are y'all already planning for 2026 and some of the things that you want to accomplish next year?
Yeah, so definitely. So Made of Clay is like super, super new. I mean, it's been on my heart for quite some time, but we started making shirts, got our first drop. Actually, it's so crazy. We just hit 136 shirts ordered.
Heck yeah.
I know,
Congrats.
dude. I was like, when I had 10 orders, I was dancing. So super, super cool, and so grateful for everybody that has supported. We've been working on a more efficient fulfillment process and how we kind of get these shirts done and in our consumers' hands quicker and a more like personalized touch. And so, anyways, been working on that and building out our website. The website should launch early January. But as far as goals for 2020, are working on some hoodies that are going to come out fairly soon. They're pretty cool. I've been wearing one around your house, actually.
Nice.
I don't know if you recognize it, but it was the like tan one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So been working on kind of some concepts there. Really just want to focus on quality and the personalization, and not just another t-shirt that hangs in your closet, like a t-shirt that you want to grab and wear. You could wear it to church, you could wear it to dinner with friends, you could wear it to work. Our next big fundraiser, kind of like where our proceeds will go, is to Guatemala. So our church has started going every year to Guatemala in the summer. And last year, or I guess this year, in 2025, I had the opportunity to go. It was amazing. Made some great connections with people there. And so we're actually going to go back to a church that we worked at this year, and there's going to be around 20 of us going so far, I think, is kind of the number. So working on using the proceeds from the next drop to go towards funding pharmaceuticals, medical supplies that we need, VBS supplies, kind of things like that. So looking forward to just kind of planning on like the trip and going and just seeing how much we can pour into these people. And then, yeah, as far as like business goals, really just wanting to meet new people, to grow the podcast, to spread the love and the mission. 2 Corinthians 4:7 is that we are clay jars and we're beaten down and bruised and broken, but we're made perfect through Christ. And like those kind of scars and cracks can be used to let like Christ's light shine through us. And so just really wanting to spread that mission.
I love that. Seriously. Yeah, like that's really, really cool. Is there a monetary goal that you think you have for next year's? Not like the business, but for your fundraiser that you're planning on? Like, is there like a dollar amount that you're like, man, if we hit that, like we'd be in a really good position to serve these people?
Honestly, no. Like, and I maybe I like should have that. Or I guess we can kind of start crunching some numbers towards the beginning of the year. But even with this, I feel like anything that I set as a goal is like too small minded for God. So it's almost like I don't even want to set this number because I know that it's going to be blown past. I mean, with this Christmas thing, I was like, oh, it'd be cool if we raised $1,000. And, I didn't really have that number out of anywhere. I just kind of pulled it out of my hat. And now we're sitting at over $5,000. So I am really just trying to focus more on the quality of our product, the reach through like connecting with the community and just giving and seeing where God takes it. I think that it would be super cool to hit 5 or 10,000, but like I said,
Whatever happens.
there's no telling.
Yeah, that's so incredible.
Yeah, and even with the profits from Made of Clay, like this drop, 100% of the profits went straight to getting kids Christmas gifts. I paid myself nothing. Everything has gone straight to the toy drive, and so just trying to kind of figure out like my goal is to continue to make it to where as much of the proceeds as possible go to the mission. We don't want this to be what puts bread on our table. We want it to just flow over to others. That, I guess, that is more my goal than some monetary amount. Like Sidekick, how are we still making that profitable and pouring into that and still being present for Phil or my family and still pouring into Made of Clay. So I think that's really more my goal of like balancing all of these and going where I feel called rather than an exact like monetary amount, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so cool. I'm excited for you guys, like where you're going to head in the new year. For the people listening, I'm going to like do some call to actions for her. Ashley does these drops. Like it's not just another clothing line. It's not just another t-shirt. This is not some large Amazon order you're placing. Like this is a couple of people that really, really care. And, whether it's putting bread on your table or not, the fact that it's being able to pass through and serve others is like so admirable and like so important, I think, especially when it's people that you can trust and that that are doing like, the right things for the right reasons. We have had a lot of conversations about this in the last months. And I think it's really good that I know that you guys are going to be good stewards of everything that you guys do with this business. And so
that's our prayer for
if
sure.
you're listening to the podcast, make sure to support the drops, right? And, we talked about, like the ability to be able to give and to be able to support. If you can't buy a shirt or a hoodie or a sticker or whatever we've got, at the very least, share the Facebook post.
For sure.
Listen to the podcast, share the podcast episode. Those are the kind of things that you would not believe have a huge, huge impact on the ability to reach more people, to be able to expand that circle of influence, to make a bigger impact on the kingdom. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. Thanks for being my hype man. I mean, you just killed it.
That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for.
I still struggle with, like selling myself or selling the brand, even though it's, straight towards ministry and to, sharing the gospel and to helping those locally and globally that need it. But yeah, no, exactly what he said. Like this is all for the betterment of people, and just showing people love and pouring into them. And you don't have to even be a Christian to support this brand. I mean, our clothing line does have Bible verses and things like that, but we love everybody. And you don't have to be a Christian to receive the fruits of this, I guess is kind of more of the point, because we don't, make you sign an oath or,
exactly.
have a letter or something like that. Like it, I mean, when we read the Bible, like Jesus was hanging out with the least of these and just loving people. It didn't matter who you were. So that is really important to us as well.
So amazing.
So what about you? How did Toys for Tots go for you?
We had a huge amount of support. We had 2 giant boxes filled to the brim. I'll give a big shout out to one of my friends, a guy named TJ. Me and him grew up together. We were friends at a pretty early age. So one of those few people that actually knew the lifestyle that
Yeah.
I kind of grew up. And he was always a great friend when we were kids. And like sometimes you have those friends that like you just know that they know, but they aren't gonna make you feel a certain kind of way. They just love you and accept you no matter.
100%. The best people.
And TJ was that kind of guy. And we kind of went our separate after high school, but we always stayed in touch. Kind of like even whenever he would visit, he moved away. When he'd visit, we'd be like, hey, let's get together. And so he had saw my Facebook post, and I swear to you, I think it might have been the same day or the next day. He had come to the office with bags of toys, scooters for kids, and then there's a picture of me on Facebook. He got like a little tiny set of kids walkie-talkies.
Oh my gosh, I saw that
Yeah.
post. Like I literally that like made me emotional.
That was to me that was really special
Yeah.
because
I
the fact
have
that
chills.
like you said, right? Like all of these people who are willing to they don't want necessarily the attention of it. They just want to do it because they feel like called to do it. And I gave TJ a shout out because I love him and I think that he deserved it. But I don't think that that was his intention. I think that he thought it was like the right thing to do. And he's that
Exactly.
kind of that's the kind of hearted person he is. And then that post, that's the cool thing about social media. We could talk about how much we hate posting all day, but that's the power of social media. I posted it that day. He supported it, I think, literally later that day or the next day. And then that post of me sharing that photo caused more people to be like, hey, what's a mailing address that we can send some toys to? And other people, randomly people in the community started dropping by our office and leaving stuff. And so it was really, really cool. The reality is we're not a business that gets a ton of foot traffic. We're not like a supermarket who sees, people every single day, every single hour. And they're like, hey, $5 of every purchase can go straight to buying toys. We don't have that same level of reach. So the fact that we were able to fill up 2 giant boxes full of toys, to me, that still feels really, really cool. And I hope you guys continue to do this next year because I want to support you guys and what you're doing next year because I think that's cool. I just go back to even whenever you see those little holiday trees inside of a store, it's grab a family
Yeah.
and get a few things that they need. To you, it might not feel like a lot, oh, they just need socks. You would not realize how important just a set of socks would be, or just a pair of underwear, or just whatever. That is huge. And to them, that might be the very first pair of new socks or new underwear or new clothes that they've ever owned. I remember growing up, I was fortunate in a lot of ways. I wasn't not totally not spoiled by the people that could. But I remember that for a long time, a lot of our clothes were just from the, again, from the pantry. We'd go to the place. They're kind of a ministry that has I don't know how to explain it, but it was called Warm is what it was called.
Warm.
Waller Area Restoration Ministries, I think is what it was, the organization name. They're still there in Texas. And they kind of had an area that you could, what's the store? Kind of like Goodwill, right?
Yeah.
But for families that were underprivileged, we could go in there and actually buy stuff. And it was not for a profit because it was actually a ministry. So we would get dress shirts from there and shoes from there. And so you would not believe what something super small can do. I would challenge you. You're going to post this episode before Christmas.
Yeah.
I would challenge you that if you are in a position to be able to serve in any way, whether that's your time, your money, whatever the case may be, try to do it, right? You could support people like Gabby and what she's doing, or at the very least, even in your own community, even on your own doorstep, being able to say hey, I'm going to make a Facebook post and say hey, I'm looking to serve one family this year that's just looking for some extra help.
Yeah.
Send me a private message. I'm not going to blast you. I'm not going to tell anybody. Just send me a message with what you need and I'll see how I can support you. You would not realize how much that's going to mean to a family.
Yes,
For
sure. And to flip that, you wouldn't realize the impact it's going to have on yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel that with this ministry, I felt that when I went to Guatemala, and just people that in Guatemala, very underserved and living on dirt floors still, and the joy and the generosity that they have, and I've seen it here. I mean, going actually, me and John Kelly just were talking about it, that he was going Christmas shopping for a few kids, and one of the kids was like, well, yeah, this toy is my sister's favorite, or oh yeah, I'm gonna get these sheets and these pillows because I know that my mom needs some.
The fact that those kids are already thinking
They're
about
only thinking about others.
others.
And I was like, gosh, how convicting is that? I'm still thinking about my wish list that I want,
I know,
my family to
right?
give me, and I'm 23 years old,
Yeah.
It's there's nothing wrong that, with wanting things to some extent, but geez, just that their gut reaction was, I'm going to get this for my sister. I'm going to get this for others. And I have seen that play out constantly, even just with kids in our own area. I'd take kids to basketball games, football games, or,
Yeah.
To the gas station, whatever. And they're always thinking about their sibling or their mom, and it's just, wow.
So cool.
Yeah. And the joy, they're just happy with what they've got. And I think that so often we forget, we're in this consumer mindset and we fall to these marketing traps of,
Yeah.
oh, this next nice big shiny thing is going to make me happy. It's like, no, that's not going to make you happy. It is going to wear out. It's going to get old, just like everything else before has. I mean, an iPhone is a perfect example. How great is it the first 6 months you get it, and then it starts getting a little slower, or it gets a chip in it, and then the next one comes out. I mean, it's classic. But I think that, yeah, like, stop fooling yourself that that's going to make you happy. Use that.
Dang, Gabby, why are you trying to convict me over
Hey,
here?
I'm sitting
Golly,
here looking
bro.
at my new iPhone too, okay?
Goodness.
I'm just saying that it's so true,
No, it's
though,
true.
that
It's really true.
we and again, like, there's nothing wrong with having the newest iPhone. It's just if you think that your joy and happiness is gonna come from that, that's not
No.
factual.
Typically, when you serve in some form or fashion, there is so much fulfillment
Oh
from
my
that.
gosh,
So
100%.
much. I at least for myself.
I've never met somebody that was like, "Yeah, I gave, and then I
Hated it.
hated it."
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, exactly. Never.
I mean, maybe we're in the wrong circles, I
Yeah,
don't know.
maybe so. All of our people are awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, again, it's so awesome. And I think that, like, even on a community level, like, we're entrepreneurs, we're invested in these communities that we're in. What better way to have the next generation of workforce and the next generation of people supporting your business than to invest in them while they're young? I mean, it seems so clear to me of pouring into kids that are going to be in your community later as adults.
Oh yeah, for me, like the youth are the most important. Like even in my own adult life now, one of the things that I do as a volunteer is I host a monthly, essentially roundtable session for young entrepreneurs in the area with our local chamber. That was something that like was really passionate to me. As someone who's like in my late 30s, getting old, I'm just a few more years from not being a young professional myself. And I was like, man, I want to give back to the business, the future business owners.
Right.
Because I remember for me personally, I started my business when I was very young. I was 22, 23 years old. And I remember I didn't get a lot of support from the older people. I was almost like competition. Like they turned their nose up at me. It was like, who's this young dude? Like, you don't have a degree. Like, what are you thinking? And I remember it felt like an uphill battle all the time. 'Cause I was just like, man, like I'm just trying to prove myself constantly. I don't want any future person, at least in my circle, that I come across to ever feel that way. I want them to feel they were pulled up and not pushed down.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like that's part of why we've become fast friends. I'm like, what do you guys need, or what do you guys want? I
Right.
love this. I love to share with
Me
you guys.
too.
I don't want you to have to face the same trials and tribulations that I had to face.
Yeah.
It sucked bad. Why would you want that kind of experience for anyone else?
Yeah, it's been such
So-
a blessing. And likewise, I mean, I've been spending a lot of time with our local youth in our community. We have a Wednesday night ministry, and just go and hang out with them, like, talk to them. And like, one girl was talking to me about her boy problems. She's like, you just don't understand because you're an adult and you're gonna tell me that I'm just young. And I was like, try me. I was like, girl,
Yeah,
I was there 10 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
come on, your first heartbreak. Yeah,
Let's
I
go.
know.
Yeah.
But if I can share some wisdom that from those things that I had been through and save you from, more heartbreak, or
Yeah.
then yeah, sure, I'll talk to you. Like,
Exactly.
open door. I mean, I guess moral of the story, 2 seconds of the podcast is just be a nice person
Yeah, exactly.
and give, because you will always receive more than you give. I mean, even with just regular Christmas gifts, like my little cousins and stuff, like watching them open their gifts is way cooler than even getting a gift myself.
yeah.
And I like a good gift.
And I do love a gift, but it's nice to give a gift.
All right, Andrew. I'm just so thankful that you got on my podcast. I mean,
I'm grateful for
you
the opportunity.
opened your home and your office. Like, me and Phil have been staying with Andrew and Kara the past few nights, and just hanging out. And then we've been at the office, and you took some time out of your busy schedule. I saw your calendar to hop on the podcast with me. So yeah, thank you so much for just being great friends, and your wisdom, and being an open door for us, as a marketing agency, but also as friends, like, to come to you and just share your wisdom.
100%. I'm sorry my office is so messy.
It's all right. I'll help you clean it
Oh,
up.
thanks. Appreciate it.
All right. So usually at the end of an episode, we like have the guest pray. If you're comfortable doing that, would love for you to pray us out.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Father God, thank you so much for the opportunity to have a platform that we're able to share our own stories, our own experiences in a way that can make an impact, a difference on the people that listen to this show. I'm so grateful for friends like Gabby and Phil, and just this community that we've created where we get to spend time together, just being our authentic selves, being honest, being able to show up in a way that I feel like is true to who we are. And I love that. And so God, I just want to say, please continue to bless our friendship, bless her new business and all of the things she's going to accomplish in the new year. ask that anyone that's listening to this podcast, I ask that you show up in a way for them that they need in their life, and that the kids that will receive these gifts this year will know that you were there through it all. In your son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I appreciate it. Thanks again for being on the podcast. You've been listening to Made of Clay Podcast.
Made of clay, what I say, got his hands on me every day, no more shame.
Yeah.
They on display.
I was low, still chosen. That's a paradox. Power in the weakness. Yeah, the treasure locked in a jar of dirt. Still heaven sent. Glory don't belong to me. I'm just the evidence. I don't need the spotlight. I've been through the dark. Every crack in the vessel, that light hit my heart.